Hi, my name is Jason Loughlin. This is Home Recording for Guitarists, presented on the UA Apollo. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a signal chain to get a great classic rock guitar sound. Okay, so let's take a look at UA's console here and check out the signal chain I set up. So I start with a classic amplifier here, the Marshall Plexi, and I have that set up in the unison slot. And let me show you some of the settings that I have. This is a plugin that comes with the UA Apollo. So I'm jumping the channels here, which is a pretty common thing to do on a lot of these old Plexis. And then I find a mix between the two channels with these volumes and then EQ'd it as such. Here I've boosted the presence and the bass, and then kind of dialed in a little bit with the treble and the mids. So let me just play that for you so you can hear what's going on there. Turn this up a bit. Okay, really nice, great Marshall sound that is dynamic to how hard I'm picking. Okay, so let's go next. So I'm going to skip this first slot for a second. I'm going to come back to it. So the next thing that I want to do when I'm setting up a signal chain for this is hear an amp in the room. And so I'm going to pick this plugin here, another one that comes with the UA Apollo, the Precision Reflections engine. And I have this dialed in with kind of a large room, a little bit of pre-delay, so I'm getting some reflections off the walls. And it's darkened up a little bit here. So let's listen to that sound now. Okay, so now you could hear some of that room there. Cool. So now I got an amp living in a room. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I want to add some compression. So I'm going to use the 1176. And I have this dialed in with the attack kind of dead center. I'm not looking to like kill too many of the dynamics. I'm just looking to tame things a bit here. I have the release kind of on the fast side because I'm getting so much sustain from the overdriven amp. It's not necessary for me to, have a lot of sustain going on. So let's listen to that. So what's nice about that is that compressor is bringing up a lot of that room tone. Check that out again. So I'm hearing a lot more room now because it's bringing up a lot of that information. All right, so with those three things, I have a pretty classic rock guitar sound. Now in the signal chain, I also like to make sure that I have a couple effects that I'm going to go to pretty often. So one is going to be a long delay. And now is a good time for me to explain why I put this first, though I didn't talk about it first. When I'm setting up the signal chain, I want to kind of ignore the effects necessarily. I just want to get what would have been a classic great rock guitar sound, through a board, amp in a room into a board kind of situation. When I'm adding effects, I would put them in the chain or in order where I normally want to hear them. So this would be something that I would kind of have added to the amp, and you would hear that delay in the room, and then it would be compressed, which is why I put it before the room and the compressor. So this is the precision delay, and I have this set to a long delay that's kind of tucked in a little bit, so it's not super prominent. I also have, you can see the level here is pretty low. Normally I would set these delays to the tempo of a song, and you could do that down here with this little tempo button. So if you're unsure, you could just hit that tap button and just tap in time to the quarter notes, and that will lock you in. The other thing that I did with this delay is I added a little bit of modulation and a little bit of depth so I can get a little closer to, say, a tape delay kind of sound. So let's listen to that. So you could hear those repeats. They're not too loud. They're just adding body. Okay, And that is something, like I said, I would just dial into taste depending on what I was playing over. And I would usually have in time. So that's one effect that I like to have. And then the other effect that I like to have for kind of classic rock guitar sound is a good reverb. And for this, I am choosing the Pure Plate. So this is a great plate reverb. You also have the EMT 140, which is another plate reverb, which this is kind of based on. There's a lot of different kind of plates or reverbs that you could throw in that slot that would all serve this role. But the plate is just kind of a classic reverb to me. So I have this set with the length kind of right in the center here. You notice on this low cut, I have it all the way over because I don't want a lot of that low reverb muddying up my guitar sound and kind of getting in the way. The other thing is I have the wet button off because I'm not using this as a send to an auxiliary track. I'm using it as an insert. Otherwise, it would be just a cacophony of reverb. And I have it set kind of low. So let's check this out. Nice ambient sound. Okay, that's a really pretty sound. So there we go. I have my basic rock sound with a classic Marshall amp in a room, a little bit of compression, two super commonly used effects that I'm going to come back to a bunch, a long delay. I could also set to a slapback. I could set it really loud. I could add more modulation, but I have a delay here in the right place in the signal chain for me, and then I have a little bit of reverb. Feel free to tweak away, change the order, swap out plugins. I hope this has been inspiring and you enjoyed this video. My name is Jason Loughlin. Please be sure to subscribe and ring that bell so we can let you know about new videos when they come out.